Travel all over the countryside, ask the Leylands, ask the Leylands. Travel all over the countryside, ask the Leyland Brothers. Whatever it is that you want to see, ask the Leylands, ask the Leylands. No matter whatever that happens to be, ask the Leyland Brothers. Come on, me in and join in the fun, travel all over Australia.
We certainly have a variety of stories for you in this episode of Ask the Leyland Brothers. First we go to Papua New Guinea, up here to the Asaro Valley, where we have a look at the weird performance of the Asaro Mud Men. Then we come down to the Northern Territory, out to Jim Jim, to have a look at a beautiful waterhole full of wildlife.
Our final story is also a wildlife story. We're able to bring to the screen one of Australia's rarest mammals. It lives in the sea, and it's a dugong, and we film it here at the Oceanarium in Cairns in Queensland.
We're in Papua New Guinea, and we're following the Highlands Highway. We're going to visit the Mudmen of Asaro and witness their ghostly performance. The Mudmen of Asaro are well known in the Highlands to visitors and locals alike. Local tribes lived in fear of the ghostly images they created and ran at the sight of them approaching. Nowadays, visitors travel miles to see their performance, but the locals are still a little uncertain about them. Mrs. Goodall of Brisbane, Queensland, suggested we film the Mudmen of Asaro. She saw them whilst on holiday at Goroka in the highlands of Papua New Guinea. We have come to a small village in the Asaro Valley, about 40 minutes drive from Goroka. A young man collects white clay from deep in a hole beside the village. The clay is rubbed all over the men's bodies to create a ghostly white effect. The number of men at a performance varies from a handful to a dozen or more, depending on the size of the celebration. This performance is being staged especially for our cameras. Normally no one would be allowed to see the Mudmen getting ready. Grotesque head masks made from mud and grass are worn to enhance the horrifying effect. The Mudmen represent the ghostly spirits of dead bodies. The Mudmen ritual dates back for unknown generations, and the story of their beginning is fascinating. The original Mudmen were from the Makahuku tribe of the Asaro Valley. The harvest of the roots of the beans, an important food crop, was cause for celebration, and girls from surrounding villages were invited to join in the dancing. Men from the host tribe daubed themselves in mud from the Asaro River and hid behind trees at night whilst the dancing was in progress. This was to scare away any evil spirits at the celebration. About 6 or 7 generations ago, the arch-enemy of the Makahuku, the Infeto tribe, made war on them. The Infetos killed many of the Makahuku warriors and carried off their women and children. The Makahukus, sorely beaten, ran away, and in doing so one fell into the white mud. The pursuing Infeto saw him and fled, thinking he was a ghost of one of the men they had just killed. The mudman reported this to his chief, and the chief decided that if mudmen could scare away evil spirits, why not their enemies as well? He split his ranks. Whilst one group donned the mud masks, the second group took their spears and attacked the Infeto village. In the midst of the battle, the mudmen slowly appeared, waving sticks and leaves as if to flick away the flies that would normally hang around a decaying corpse. The Infetos were shocked at the sight of the grotesque ghosts advancing upon them. They dropped their bows and spears and fled into the bush. The victorious Makahukus rescued their women and children and returned to the Asaro Valley. Ever since that victory, the mudmen perform this ritual at celebration feasts. Even today, many visitors at these feasts are trembling with fear when the mudmen appear. When you are as young as dawn, nothing looks frightening, only interesting. After the performance, an older member of the Mudmen gives us a musical rendition on his bamboo instrument, which brings to an end our fascinating visit with the Mudmen of Asaro. We're in the Western Arnhem Land region because we have a letter from Chaz Needham of Mount Hawthorn, Western Australia. Chaz wrote and says, 2 years ago my wife and I did a tour around Australia from Perth to Perth. We had 46 days in an air-conditioned bus and loved every minute of the tour. The place that fascinated us most was Jim Jim, where we stayed at Cooinda Inn, run by Tom and Judy Opitz. I would love to see the inn and the people, and the yellow waterhole and the billabongs on your program, trusting it will be possible. Well, Chaz, Tom and Judy are still here. Tom, when did you actually build the motel here?
We started building the motel in 1967 and finally opened it in 1968.
We started out as a trading post to just to serve a few campers that used to come to the area, but we had no idea actually that it was going to grow to such enormous proportions, because it's been helped by the uranium mining and all the other sort of the roads going through, the bitumen going through, and get more people than we ever anticipated we would ever get.
For you to come from England right out here must have been a bit of a change.
Yes, well, I was a couple of years I suppose before, but this is the type of country that I like, that I was always have wanted to settle in, India, Africa, what have you, this type of particular type of country.
You don't like the cold?
No, I don't like the cold, no, I love this wild country.
And most people would come out, to see the wildlife?
That is the main attraction, and also the barramundi fishing.
And you get that down here at the Yellow Waterhole, which you've written some music about, haven't you, Judy?
Yes, I wrote the music for the Yellow Water because when I used to go down there and watch the sunset, it sort of so impressed me. I used to sit there and sort of, just dream and go into a trance, perhaps, if there was time. And then the music just sort of came to me. Most of my music I wrote on my trips to Darwin to stock up on stores and that sort of thing. I had nothing much to do, and I used to hum away and sing away and think of things. And then I sort of thought of this song, and I just wrote it down, went down to Sydney and got it arranged properly, because I couldn't do all the fancy arrangements. I just do the tunes, perhaps the simple tunes.
Well, I think the best thing is to have a look at the waterhole and have some of your music with it.
Oh, that's lovely.
Our guide on the Yellow Waterhole is John Booth, who with his wife Chris look after the tourists at Jim Jim. John often goes out at dawn on the waterhole to catch fresh barramundi for the larder. Judy's music certainly adds atmosphere to the tranquil morning scenes on Yellow Waterhole. The buffalo are wary here because a lot have been shot during an eradication program in the nearby national park. Buffalo may be hard to see, but there is plenty of bird life on the Waterhole. Familiar birds in the Australian north are the magpie geese. They are often seen in flocks of thousands. It is these geese that were the downfall of the rice growing project at Humpty Doo between here and Darwin. The majestic Jabiru is Australia's only member of the stork family. The Jabiru is very rarely seen. This is the closest I have ever managed to get to one. One of Australia's biggest birds, the Jabiru has a wingspan of 2.2 metres and stands at 1.2 metres high. A large flock of whistling ducks takes to the wing as we pass. A yellow-necked cormorant dries its wings in the sun after diving for fish. Although water is the cormorant's natural element, its plumage is not waterproof like most aquatic species. This bird is common and found throughout Australia, excepting Tasmania. A nankeen night heron takes flight at our approach. As the name suggests, these birds are nocturnal and roost during the day. Pelicans need no introduction. They are a common species found in many countries. Their striking features make them easily recognisable. A white-breasted sea eagle, one of our largest birds of prey. These eagles eat small mammals as well as fish.
There he is.
John has a favourite fishing spot on Yellow Waterhole where he can almost guarantee to catch a barramundi. John's wife Chris is waiting to see the result of the day's fishing. Barramundi. What better way to end a fantastic day at Jim Jim in the top end of the Northern Territory.
This is the Barramundi that John
We received a letter from Robin Newberry of Abbotsford in Victoria, asking to see what we thought may be the impossible. She asked to see underwater film of a dugong. The dugong is a rarely seen mammal of the northern waters of Australia, which lives in cloudy water, where visibility is reduced to a few centimetres. So when we heard that the Cairns Oceanarium had a young dugong in captivity, we rushed to Cairns as soon as possible to see if we could fulfil this difficult request. This was once an ocean baths and has been converted to an oceanarium displaying native fish and underwater fauna from the tropics. Many of the sea creatures here are of great interest, like the huge barracuda with its razor-sharp teeth and streamlined body. But to us, the real interest lies with the dugong. Vic Oak is the owner of the Oceanarium, and he managed to get the dugong when it became trapped in a fisherman's net. He freed it when he realised that it was a young female and brought it back to the Oceanarium. The young dugong here is the only one in captivity anywhere in the world. It has already become the object of an extensive scientific study, the first such study ever possible. This odd creature with its fish-like tail grazes on weed or seagrass and breathes air. Vic Oak is extremely fortunate to have the dugong and is going to great pains to ensure that it survives. When he first introduced it to the pool, he swam around with it for many hours to show it the confines of the pool. If it had been left to discover these things for itself, it could easily have injured itself by accidentally running into the walls. Vic is trying to build a bond of friendship with the dugong, and it seems to be working.
The dugong, for instance, seems to have quite a bit of intelligence, and it seems to be an affectionate type of creature. Even though we've only had this one a few weeks so far, it still wants company. We hop in the pool and it comes up to us, and it seems to want to be fondled and it wants to be played with. And it does follow us around quite a bit, and it does show quite a bit of intelligence, even in just the way it plays.
The dugong is responsible for the myth of the mermaid. When suckling its young, the female develops two large breasts of approximate human proportions, which, combined with the streamlined body and fish-like tail, was apparently enough to convince the early mariners that it was some kind of cross between woman and fish, in spite of the less than beautiful head. The dugong is an endangered species in certain parts of its habitat, such as the areas around Japan and most of the Indian Ocean. Australia now represents the last stronghold of survival for this curious creature. Here it's fully protected except for tribal natives who are still permitted to hunt them for food. One of the reasons that dugongs are difficult to keep is the difficulty of providing their daily food. Every second day at low tide, it's necessary to make trips to the muddy shoreline of Cairns Harbour and collect the seaweed. The sea floor here is a soft, oozy grey mud which barely supports a man's weight. Sinking to knee height in the mud is normal as the meticulous process of picking the weed is carried out. The weed must be pulled out by the roots and the worst of the mud washed off. There's only about 3 hours a day suitable for collecting the weed, and the tidal hours are not always the most convenient ones. There's no point in picking too much, for it will only survive a few days, and it's necessary to ensure that the dugong has fresh weed available all the time. At the Oceanarium, Vic Oak ties fresh bunches of weed onto clumps and attaches the bunches to a weighted stick. Just before he places the fresh weed in the pool, he rings a gong, which in time he hopes will trigger a response in the dugong to come for fresh food. This in the long term will assist with the study of the dugong and help control its feeding habits. Since the dugong has only been in captivity for 2 weeks though, he must first introduce it to the weed.
I had to try and coax it to feed for a start by nuzzling into the grass that we have tied to weighted sticks on the bottom, and it seemed to get the idea.
After each mouthful, the dugong cruises around the pool chewing the weed before completing a circle and arriving back at the weed for another mouthful. It has a split proboscis, something like an elephant's trunk, for grasping the seagrass. For Vic Oak, it's extremely rewarding to see the young dugong feeding so well. However, shortly after this film was taken, it went off the weed, and it was only after careful analysis of the creature by scientists from the James Cook University from Townsville that a milk supplement from a bottle was added to the diet, and it is now thriving in captivity. It must be so young that it was still on its mother's milk, and the milk is apparently required to help digest the seaweed. Fortunately, the future of the young dugong seems assured, and no doubt it will become the star attraction for the Cairns Oceanarium.
Travel all over the countryside, ask the Leylands, ask the Leylands. Travel all over the countryside, ask the Leyland Brothers. Whatever it is that you want to see, ask the Leylands, ask the Leylands. No matter whatever that happens to be, ask the Leyland Brothers. Come on, me in it and join in the fun. Travel all over Australia.